Hey everyone, and welcome back to Investing Talk Podcast.
Yeah, always exciting to be back.
It's been a crazy time in the market lately, right? You feeling those swings too? I mean, especially with the Dow's big drop last week.
Oh, for sure.
Over 700 points down.
Yeah.
Worst day of the year so far.
It's kind of wild, though, isn't it? Like, the market is all over the place. Everyone's nervous about inflation, what's going on with, some of those policies from the Trump era still having an effect.
Right.
But there are some stocks out there that are just ignoring all of that and just going,
Absolutely. And that's exactly what we're going to talk about today.
okay.
A company that's not just surviving this mess, but like really crushing it.
Intrigued.
Sabre Corporation.
Okay.
Ticker symbol SABR.
Got it.
Their stock is up 32% just this past month.
Wow.
And hold on to your hats, 66% over the past year.
Seriously.
Yeah. Have you been watching Sabre?
I haven't been paying super close attention, I gotta admit.
What do you think is going on there? Why are they doing so well when everything else seems kind of shaky?
Well, let's dig into that.
Yeah.
Their Q4 2024 earnings report just came out a few days ago,
Okay.
February 20th, and it gives us some hints.
Okay, so what did we see?
Revenue was a little bit lower than expected.
Oh, really?
Yeah, just a tiny bit. They brought in $714.72 million,
Uh-huh.
and analysts were expecting $716.6 million.
So a slight miss?
Yeah, a small one, but there's a bigger story here, I think.
Okay, I'm all ears.
The adjusted EPS that actually beat what everyone thought it was going to be
Oh, interesting.
came in at negative $0.08
Okay.
compared to a projected negative $0.10.
Okay, so they beat expectations on that.
They did.
How'd they manage that?
Well, they've been really smart about their margins,
Okay.
especially getting those savings from moving things to the cloud and really making their labor costs work for them.
So they're getting efficient.
Yeah.
Do you think that's a good sign for the long haul? Like if they keep up this cost management, could that be a real strength?
I think it's definitely something to keep an eye on. I mean,
Yeah.
right after that, EPS beat, their stock jumped 15%.
Wow.
And it's kept climbing since then, bringing that monthly gain to 32%.
That's huge.
Yeah, this is not just a random spike. It feels like there's some real momentum behind it.
It's really impressive, but they're not stopping there, right? I mean, what about their guidance for 2025? That seemed pretty ambitious.
Oh, absolutely, they're going for it.
Yeah.
They're projecting high single-digit revenue growth year over year.
Wow.
Adjusted EBITDA over $700 million.
Okay.
And free cash flow above $200 million.
That's pretty bold, given how uncertain things are right now.
It is.
Do you think they're being overly optimistic, or is there something special about their position?
Well, you can't look at Sabre without thinking about the whole travel industry.
Right.
And right now, travel is booming. As the world recovers from, those economic downturns we were talking about and the pandemic finally fading away, people are just desperate to travel.
I feel it.
And Sabre, they're right in the sweet spot.
Yeah.
They work with airlines, hotels, travel agencies, all the parts of the industry that are benefiting from this travel surge.
So while other tech giants like NVIDIA are struggling with, things like AI trade concerns and a slowing market, Sabre's riding this completely different wave.
Yeah, they're in a sector that's actually doing really well right now.
So sometimes the bigger market trends don't even matter as much as what's happening in a specific industry.
Exactly. And Sabre's success isn't just about them. It's about this bigger story of travel coming back strong.
That makes a lot of sense, but, we got to look beyond the hype and dig into those technical indicators.
Right.
Let's get into the charts. What are they telling us about Sabre?
Well, from a technical perspective, we're seeing some really bullish signals.
Okay, like what?
They've broken above both the 50-day and the 200-day moving averages.
Mm-hmm.
That's a classic sign of an upward trend.
Classic.
And the trading volume has gone way up on the days and the price is increasing.
Interesting.
That tells me there's strong buying conviction. People are putting their money where their mouth is.
Okay, so that's encouraging, but we got to play devil's advocate for a second.
Sure.
Every investment has risks.
Of course.
What are some of the downsides investors should be aware of with Sabre?
Well, their latest 10K filing does point out some risks.
Okay.
They depend a lot on global travel trends.
Right.
So any downturn in the travel industry could hit them hard.
Like what kind of downturn?
It could be economic problems, geopolitical events, something unexpected.
Right, so they're riding high on this travel boom, but if it slows down, they're vulnerable.
Exactly. And it's not just the travel industry itself.
Uh-huh.
Broader geopolitical instability could also impact their business.
Like how so?
Well, if international relations get worse or there are major conflicts that could disrupt travel patterns.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And we can't forget their debt burden.
Right.
That could limit their options if things get tough.
Yeah, those are some serious points to consider. And what about that flashing red light, the RSI? We talked about that earlier. That seems like a real concern, right?
It definitely warrants caution.
Okay.
Their 14-day RSI is probably somewhere between 70 and 76 right now.
And what does that mean exactly?
It means the stock is overbought.
Okay.
The price may have climbed too quickly and could be due for a correction.
So it's this classic dilemma, right?
Yeah.
Weighing the potential for growth against the risks and that market volatility.
It's tough, especially when a stock is doing as well as Sabre.
Right, so let's get down to brass tacks.
Okay.
What advice do you have for people looking at Sabre, both the short-term traders and the long-term investors?
All right, so for the short-term traders,
Yeah,
if this momentum keeps up, we could see Sabre hitting the $4 to $4.20 range.
okay.
But that high RSI, it's a warning sign.
Yeah,
I'd say buy on a dip maybe around $3.30,
okay.
but set a tight stop loss around $3.50 to manage that volatility.
So a calculated risk with a safety net.
Exactly.
What about the long-term folks?
For them, Sabre's looking pretty good.
Okay,
They're undervalued and their growth projections are strong.
yeah,
I'd say hold it or even buy more if it dips.
okay.
Look for buying opportunities during a pullback, maybe towards that 50-day SMA.
Got it.
That way, you're taking advantage of the travel industry's recovery and Sabre's efforts to modernize their tech.
Makes sense, but should investors be wary of putting too much faith in any one company, even one as hot as Sabre?
That's why diversification is so important.
Right.
No matter how promising a stock seems, you always want to spread your investments around.
Don't put all your eggs in one basket.
Exactly. Pairing Sabre with a stable ETF may be one that tracks a broader market index
Yeah,
that can help balance those sector-specific risks.
that's smart advice. So we've covered a lot today.
We have.
Sabre's recent wins, the potential risks, the technical indicators, even strategies for different types of investors.
Yeah, it's a lot to take in.
It is, but as we move forward, it's important to remember investing isn't just about the numbers.
Right.
It's about understanding the story, what's driving these industries, and the companies leading the way.
Absolutely.
So with that in mind, what are your initial thoughts on Sabre? Would you add it to your portfolio or wait and see what happens?
That's a tough one.
It is.
Every investor has to decide for themselves based on their own risk tolerance, their goals, their whole strategy.
That's what makes investing so interesting.
Yeah.
It's analysis, strategy, and a little bit of gut feeling.
For sure.
But before we wrap up, let's dig a little deeper into Sabre's role in the travel industry.
Okay.
They're more than just another travel company. They're the tech backbone of the whole ecosystem.
That's a great point. They really are. They're not just out there flying planes or running hotels.
Right.
They're the ones making sure all those systems work so that millions of people can travel smoothly.
It's crazy when you think about it.
It is.
Every time you book a flight, a hotel room, even a rental car,
Yeah.
Sabre's tech is probably involved somewhere.
Exactly. They provide all sorts of tech solutions to airlines, hotels, travel agencies, any business involved in travel, really.
So it's not just connecting travelers with the companies, they're helping those companies run better and make more money,
That's right.
which is a pretty sweet spot to me in right now with travel demand going through the roof.
You got it. As more and more people are getting back out there traveling after, years of everything being so uncertain, Sabre is in a perfect position to benefit.
It's like they're not directly affected by those crazy fuel prices or staffing shortages like the airlines and hotels are.
Right.
Their business is all about the technology that makes travel possible, no matter who's actually doing the flying or the hosting.
And that's a big deal.
Yeah, it gives them a kind of buffer from the ups and downs of the travel industry,
Exactly. And that translates into stability and predictability.
which investors love, especially when the market is still kind of jumpy. But even with that stability, they're not immune to everything, right? We talked about those risks, like how much they rely on global travel trends and the possibility of a market correction.
Of course, no investment is completely risk-free.
It's true.
And we got to remember that RSI.
Yeah.
It's a definite yellow flag.
So it's not necessarily a sign of an impending crash,
Right.
but it does mean a pullback is more likely.
It's about managing expectations and understanding how the market works.
Right. It's that balance between risk and reward.
Exactly.
It makes you wonder what's next for Sabre and the whole travel industry.
Yeah.
Things are changing so fast. New tech, new consumer habits.
Definitely. Will people keep traveling at this rate?
Right.
Will business travel bounce back as companies figure out those hybrid work models?
Yeah.
What about those new technologies that could disrupt everything?
It's exciting and kind of scary all at the same time.
It is.
But one thing's for sure, tech is going to keep shaping how we travel.
No doubt. And Sabre, with all their expertise, is in a great position to be a leader in those changes.
Absolutely. They're pouring money into things like AI, machine learning, data analytics, all that stuff to make travel more personalized and seamless.
Yeah.
That's something for investors to think about.
Mm-hmm.
It's not just about how Sabre's doing today. It's about their potential to shape the future of travel.
They're definitely a company to watch for both reasons.
I think we've given our listeners a lot to think about.
We have.
We've looked at Sabre's wins, analyzed the risks, even thought about the future of travel.
For sure.
What's your main takeaway from all this?
For me, it's that Sabre is doing really well right now. They're riding this wave of travel demand, they're managing costs and they're investing in the right places to stay ahead of the curve.
But like with any investment, there are risks.
Absolutely.
And people need to think about their own goals and how much risk they're comfortable with.
Hmm.
Well said, and remember, everyone Investing Talk podcast is all about helping you make smart investment decisions.
That's right.
We want to give you the insights, the analysis, the different perspectives you need to navigate this crazy world of investing.
Knowledge is power, especially in the financial markets.
Couldn't agree more. So let's go back to that question we asked earlier.
Okay.
Given everything we've talked about with Sabre, their place in the market, the whole economic climate, how would you approach this stock?
It's a tough one.
It is. Would you jump in, take a more cautious approach, or wait for a clearer sign?
What do you think? Let us know in the comments.
We always love hearing from our listeners.
Yeah, and if you found this helpful, share it with your friends, family, anyone who might be interested in learning more about Sabre or investing in general.
Spread the knowledge.
And don't forget to subscribe to Investing Talk podcast for more analysis, market updates, and discussions like this.
We're here to help you navigate the world of investing.
That's right.
Thanks for tuning in, everyone.
We appreciate your time and your engagement.
Until next time, happy investing.
It's interesting, isn't it? Like, every time we decide to invest in something, we're kind of making a bet on the future.
Yeah, it's like trying to predict what's going to happen, not just tomorrow, but years from now. And with a company like Sabre, that bet is tied to how we think travel is going to evolve.
Exactly. And that brings up some big questions. Will this travel boom keep going?
Right.
Will business travel ever fully recover? And how is technology going to change everything in ways we can't even imagine yet?
It's mind-blowing when you really think about it.
It is.
So much uncertainty. So what's an investor supposed to do?
That's where diversification comes in.
Yeah.
We don't have a crystal ball. We can't know for sure what's going to happen.
Right.
But by spreading our investments across different areas, different sectors, different types of assets, we're basically lowering the risk of any one investment going bad.
Don't put all your eggs in one basket.
Exactly. And that's why it's so important to have a clear investment strategy.
Yeah.
It's not just about picking stocks that sound cool.
Right.
It's about knowing how much risk you're okay with, what your financial goals are,
Yeah.
and making sure your investments line up with those goals.
And that's a big part of what we try to do here at Investing Talk Podcast.
Right.
Give you the information, the analysis, the different points of view to help you become a better investor.
We believe knowledge is power, especially when it comes to investing.
Absolutely. And it's a journey we're all on together.
That's right.
Constantly learning, adapting, and hopefully growing our portfolios along the way.
For sure.
Well, I think we've given our listeners a lot to think about today.
We have.
We've looked at Sabre's success, navigated the market, and shared some important investing principles.
It's been great talking about all this with you.
Likewise.
And remember, everyone investing is a marathon, not a sprint.
True.
Stay informed, stay curious, and never stop learning.
Couldn't have said it better myself. Thanks for tuning in to Investing Talk Podcast.
And before you go, don't forget to subscribe to our channel.
Yeah.
Leave us a comment about your thoughts on Sabre.
We love hearing from you.
And share this episode with anyone who might find it useful.
Spread the knowledge.
We appreciate your support.
And until next time, happy investing.
See ya.